Afternoon, everyone that's in Hobart in Australia, and it's 7 o'clock in the evening here and 9 o'clock in La Sable d'Olonne. So, a few things going on right now. Back end of the fleet, we've got reports that Guy has left the dock. He's on his way out, and we're just checking the tracker actually because he's supposed to be on the tracker. He'll be Chichester class, but we're still obviously tracking him and doing all the same monitoring and so on, the sound clouds and tweets and all the rest of it. But he may have been slipped off there. So if you don't see him up there in a minute at the 4 hourly, which is on in about 1 minute or so, you'll see him bounce on. Don't despair. We'll get him up as soon as we can, and so you'll be able to follow him all the way across. Big challenge ahead, but I'm sure he'll be able to have some fun racing towards the gate in Hobart, and then try and catch up with Sir Haley and all that sort of stuff. So good luck to Guy. I'm sure he'd just be happy to get out with a clean bottom. So that's good. And now we got here, we'll look at Elliot, still doing okay. Had some big wins for a while there. You may have been seeing it. I'll go back to one. So he had this northwesterly coming through, and now it's just rolled over to start into a southwesterly, which is going to build. It's right behind him as we speak. In fact, we'll just check his position now. Yes, that's current position. So it's only a minute old or something. He's been doing 5 knots. He was actually going a bit faster than that the last 4 hours. 118 mile day, which is pretty good. And he'd be quite comfortable 2 reefs and a staysail. That will be about right for these conditions. So that's all fine for him. And Ian has been doing 6.7. He's making great time, heading straight towards Hobart, which is very efficient. So that's all good. And Jeremy is just about on the edge of the zone. He's doing 4.5 knots now in a nice consistent westerly. So he's got westerly. We've got them all on the one track. I'll check the waves here because a typical day in the Southern Ocean is 3.5 meters and about sort of 30 knots or so. And what we've got there is around about 3 meters. So typical day for him. Elliot's got bigger stuff. It's 4.5 maybe. That's still holding high seas from when the previous stronger northwesterlies went through, and so he'll be in that for a while. And Ian, the sea will be building behind him. So current wise, we'll just have a look while we're here. Bit of a mishmash. Ian's got a little current going with him. Jeremy's not in anything at all, and Elliot's got some current around him, but he's in between it all, so nothing happening. Clouds wise, let's have a look. So there's the front. You can see very clearly that there's the big cloud front. Ian's in beautiful sunshine. That's easy, and Jeremy's still under the clouds there as well. So kind of fun to see that. And now we'll just roll the weather through for the next day or so. So this is, you can see that front. It's dying really quickly. It's just going into a southerly wind, so that's okay. Jeremy's getting a boost. He's got strengthening westerlies that are going into a northwester, and you're starting to see this big storm coming up from the bottom here. But it's just missing Jeremy, and that's going to be. Let's see. I'll take it back a bit so you can see the whole thing that's going on. This is the big one coming through. I think that's the one. Yes. They're moving so fast these days, you've got to try and keep up with it. Okay, I'll get that rolling again. So this is now the 23rd in the evening, so it's actually holding down a bit. It's not going far north at all. It's holding at 45, so that's fine. Jeremy will miss the worst of it, and Goog has shot up north. So as we suggested the other day, and seeing we're looking at this weather system coming across, you can see that he's just out of the worst of it. This is actually this is on the 24th now. So it's holding, this big storm is holding further south. It's not coming as far north, and it's slowed down a bit now because this is the early hours of the 24th. So it's actually taking a bit longer to get there. So Google will have time to get out of the way, and he's missed the worst of it. And the sea and the wind has been pretty consistent from the westerly, southwesterly sort of quadrant. So that's kind of good. Anyway, there's no big surprises for Elliot or Ian, and Jeremy will be happy. He'll make good time, so that's all pretty good indeed. Okay, so we can leave them there. That's through the 24th, day before Christmas. They'll all be starting to think about Christmas soon, and they probably already are. So, okay, so I can build this up a little bit here and just advance on what Goog is doing. He's, come on, there we go, 6.4 knots. He'll be happy with that. for sure. He's probably got 30, 35s, maybe gusting a bit higher there from the northwest. He's taken on the beam. I'll probably send him a message. I'll let him keep going a little bit longer tonight. Then I'll send him a message and say, hey, Goog, don't worry. You're out of the bad zone, and you can maybe start heading towards Hobart again. He's managed to clear quite a bit on that. I'll just put the grid back on here. It's gone. So there's 40 up there. He's above, he's probably up into 43 now. In fact, I can see that there. There's 44. So he's not quite up to 44. So I'll just leave it there for the moment, and then I'll probably contact him first thing in the morning and say, well done. I suggest if you want, you could now carry on and head towards Hobart. So I think we might be able to discuss the whole lot here. So Simon's had a very frustrating day, 3.7 knots. This morning he was only doing 2.2 or something, and then it was 4s. Now he's cut back to 3.7 again, because you can see there's just big holes everywhere here, not much wind at all. And this is still hard to predict. They say there's a bit of wind there's no wind here, there's no wind there, but believe me, it could be the other way around. There could be a little bit of wind up here, no wind exactly where Simon is, and so on. It's very hard to predict these slight gradients with less than 10 knots and then no wind and stuff. Nevertheless, Kirsten's been managing to keep sailing 4.2. She was actually doing 5s before, and Abelish has been doing the same. He's 5.7. So I'll build this up so you can see what's going to happen to Goog. He's missed the storm. The wind is going to be consistent. He's got plenty of sailing breeze. He'll be doing 5s, 6s, and maybe 7s coming along. So he's going to be doing all right for the next few days. And if anything, he'll be closing a little bit on these guys at the moment. So overall, he's probably picking up, 50 miles or so in the next couple of days. But we'll have to wait and see. This is the big picture now for us, see what's going to happen. And it looks like everything's going to end up the way we suggested. Simon will get in sometime. I'll show you what's going to happen. Okay, so right now we'll just do some distances I'll set the distance to Hobart. I set it, there's Hobart there, it's off to the side, but they've got to turn the corner, and we can't do that, but that's about the same distance, so about 150 miles. Simon's about 150 miles from Hobart, and then if we extend that down here, Kirsten right now is about 300 miles from Hobart, so she's 150 miles behind Simon, near enough at the moment. And then Abelish is 550 miles, so he's 400 miles behind Simon, and what did we say, a couple of hundred, 250, is that right? Oh, I don't know my maths, I forgot what it was, 300, 4, 5, yeah, that's right, about 250 miles off the track from Kirsten. So they're all pretty much in touch with each other, but what's going to happen in the next 24, 36 hours? Let's just watch this. And remember the big storms coming up from behind them. So I'm going to just toggle this through every hour. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see Simon's just still sitting in a hole there. He's hardly gone anywhere during that time, but Kirsten's still sailing. Abelish is going to slow down a little bit as well, but Kirsten's seems to have a little bit of breeze, so she'll be a couple of knots, I think, faster than Simon there. And then Kirsten's still sort of a little bit in the breeze, but Simon, if he's moved along a bit, you can see he's right on the edge of a no-go zone. So it's still, Kirsten's looking much better with the breeze compared to Simon. So I think she'd still be doing a knot, 2 knots faster than Simon, whatever's going on. And look at Abelish, boom, he's in the game. So he's got plenty of breeze coming up from behind. And what you're going to see now is this storm's coming up, and all of a sudden it'll push Abelish along, and then it'll grab Kirsten and push her along. Excuse me. Push her along, and meanwhile Simon's going to be struggling, so there's going to be another closure, and I think it'll be something like anyway, I'll keep toggling it and you'll see, but I think we'll find Kirsten maybe 100 miles behind Simon by the time he gets to Hobart, because you can see there now still Simon's got this frustration of holes and light winds and so on, even if he's moving forward. This is tomorrow morning on the 23rd. So he's still got a blocking area of wind, and yet Kirsten's now in the breeze. So you can literally count the hours now and say, okay, Kirsten's going to be at least 2 knots faster than Simon, and Abelish, he's flying. he's going to be doing 7s. He's probably a knot faster than Kirsten, right? So there's going to be a compression there as well. And you can see now Simon, it's another 5 hours before he starts to get a reasonable breeze, and Kirsten's just flying. So then by this stage Simon's sailing, but as he gets across here, he'll come through. This is still not much fun right around, but he won't be there at that stage. He'll still be out in the ocean, sailing as best he can, and then he slowly gets there. And then as he gets there, if he does, when he comes to turn the corner, you've got this sort of northerly coming down here, and this northwesterly or west northwesterly pushing him in. But at some stage there's a transition, very little wind. And that's not uncommon in Hobart. So about this time here, Simon could be around here, and if I blow this up now, forget about Ablish for a while. He's going, well, look at what Kirsten's got. She'll be flying. She'll be roaring along at 6s and 7s at this stage, and Simon's going to be up around here, and I'll blow it up again. There's a big wind hole there. You can see there's no wind here at all around Adventure Bay, so he's going to be going slow coming up here, and he's got to get right into the corner here. So while he's going slow, Kirsten's going to be flying, and this is pretty much the name of the game at the moment. So I'll keep toggling it through, and then the strength of this wind that's bringing Kirsten up, and this is by tomorrow night. Finally, Simon's got a little bit of breeze, but there's a lot of breeze here, so Kirsten's going to be going 6s and 7s again, and so I'm projecting that she'll take out at least another 50 miles by the time Simon actually gets into the film gate. This is he'll be there about now sometime, about 30 hours or so from now, and I'm certain he'll only stay for 90 minutes, especially when we tell him where Kirsten is. I'm not sure if he knows where Kirsten is at the moment, but we'll tell him what's going on there, and it could be a pretty quick exit. So somewhere through there, you can see then Kirsten's going to be coming down here. This is the 24th. She's still got plenty of breeze. We're expecting her in somewhere on the 25th, so she's still got breeze, and then she'll face her challenges as well. Plenty of breeze there. Ablish is the same. I'll cut it back now to show you what Ablish is experiencing. Here we come. I'll go one more. Ablish got plenty of breeze. Okay, so this is on the 20. This is nearly into the 25th, and I think we'll find Kirsten in about there. Simon coming out, he's going to be down here somewhere. He's got a reasonable run, so it gets a bit hard to predict now because there's so many variables in close to Hobart, but that's part of the challenge. And in fact, in 1968, when Matessi was down here, he waited for some time, waiting for a fishing boat to come past. So I forget the exact amount of time, but it was a significant amount of time. Found a fishing boat, gave them the letters, and they took them back to the Royal Cape Yacht Club here. The Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, and that's part of their history as well, with the whole connection to 1968. So we're doing the same thing. Anyway, that's probably about it. So we'll start issuing ETAs for Simon starting tomorrow morning sometime, and keep you updated on what's going on. We just put Simon's onboard footage up. Hope you've seen that. Gives you a bit of insight to what's going on, and we'll see you tomorrow.